Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Wednesday, June 4th. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight, with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We will produce the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th, Pride Fest Diversity Pride in August, and Pride Fort Lauderdale next February.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective, when gods are gay lovers. Before Romeo and Juliet, there was Apollo and Hyacinthus, a love story between a god and a mortal prince that was celebrated across ancient Greece. Apollo, the mighty god of sun, music, and poetry, found himself completely obsessed with the beautiful prince Hyacinthus. Apollo left his divine duties just to be with Hyacinthus on earth. They would hunt and make love and make music so beautiful it made the mountains weep. For the first time in his immortal life, Apollo knew what it meant to truly be in love. But Zephyrus, the god of the west wind, watched their happiness with bitter jealousy. And one day, as Apollo was teaching Hyacinthus to throw the discus, Zephyrus sent a brutal wind that drove the disc back, striking the young prince. As Hyacinthus lay dying in his lover's arms, Apollo's grief shook the heavens. Rather than let death take his beloved, the god transformed Hyacinthus' spilled blood into a flower of deepest purple, the first hyacinth. Apollo's grief was so profound that the other gods agreed to write his cries of anguish on the hyacinth's petals. Unlike many tragic Greek myths, their love was celebrated and honored, never portrayed as scandalous or wrong. And the Queer God Squad says, amen.
Amen.
I love that. I love that story. I love thinking about divine love and erotic love being two sides of the same coin. And because P.S. it is. And so I do love that story. And I love the imaginative aspect. You know, you have to imagine, because, you know, what is God? Well, anything you come up with was an act of imagination. Now, was it your imagination or was it someone else's imagination that you just accepted? But any God you have is a portrait made of imagination. So why not tap into your own and make it be what you need? Why not have, there was this, in the Middle Ages, a pretty frequent image of Christ as a pelican tearing her at her own breast to feed her children. It was thought that they did that. They don't, but they thought they did. And so this mother pelican tearing out her own flesh to feed her little pelicanettes, you'd see that carved into altars, and that was a Christ image of Jesus giving himself for all of us, feeding us with his very self. Well, that's imagination. And it's either beautiful or creepy, depending on how you judge it. But it was imagination. And so any God, any Christ, any heaven, any patron saint, it's imagination. Why not let it be yours? And so I love this queer imagination that finds this queer God and this God and mortals sharing something, and not just being where you have to give deference or bow down or belittle yourself or live in fear. No, this is an erotic love story. These two embrace each other. One cries when the other is hurt. I mean, that I think is a much more beautiful imagery of divinity than the one I grew up with. Given the Marquita God that I grew up with, or this lover God, guess which one I'd pick today?
love this.
Yeah.
Reading, getting into it, and kind of letting the mind run with the story and the playfulness of it all, and the love making all, and the whole notion of God, so as gay lovers. But my mind quickly went to the color purple.
Oh, yeah.
And thinking about how that connect with that, and it pisses God off when you walk by and you don't see the color purple. And so just kind of rolling that in my, like just playing with it all. And I think that's part of how that's a part of the gayness of me, is you get to play with things like that. You get to imagine the what ifs. In these types of stories, or even in biblical stories, and you get to kind of play with them. And a part of it is you have to see yourself in them in order to own them. That's the queerness of it all too. But this one is clearly, I'm there.
Right.
I'm there.
Right.
And to hell with the wind gods.
Yeah, because Zephyrus is an asshole.
Now, I'm with you. Younger, I read mythology and I enjoyed mythological stories and like that kind of thing. But I never saw this.
Yeah.
I never saw something like this. Now, maybe I didn't recognize it for what it was, but I don't recall ever seeing anything like this. But now you see that thing, or if younger people were to see that thing, they put themselves in those shoes, gives people permission to say, hey, you know what? My story is in these myths as well. So how empowering that must be.
I love it. I mean, there's not much else that I need to say except that when you look, we queers are everywhere.
Yeah.
In history, in the Bible, in mythology. We're there, and you don't even have to dig that deep to find us. You just need to really, I think, have an open mind to see the possibilities that is us.
Yeah.
The singer Marsha Free to Be, yes, Free Stevens, she had a song, Free to Be. Free to Be Who I Am. But she had another song, and it's called the Mommy Song. And the whole thing is this prayer about, God, you've been, this warrior and this father and this protector and this provider and, all these sort of male imageries. And then the end of that first verse, she says, but now I'm asking something new. Would you be my mommy too? And then the rest of the song are these maternal images about, drying my tears and, kissing my boo-boos and holding me and feeding me, blah, blah. And that's an act of imagination, like imagining God as maternal and not just paternal, as imagining God as nurturing and not just, scolding or, fighting or whatever. And so I really want to drive home this idea of imagination because anything you've read about God came from somebody's imagination. I think yours, for you, is probably better. Neville Goddard, he said, look him up if you don't know him, he was a mystic, early 20th century. He said that God is your imagination. That power to create, that power to imagine, that power to see things before they come about, the power then to move to make them come about, that creative force is what imagination is. And so your imagination is God. Paramahansa Yogananda said it in a way that might be a little less threatening for some people. He said that God is pure consciousness, and we are each a unit of pure consciousness. Well, what is consciousness? It's awareness. And what is imagination? But being aware of what could be or what you wish could be. And so it's all of a piece, isn't it? So yes, when you're looking at these stories, first of all, play with them, be imaginative.
Yeah.
Secondly, make up some of your own.
Yeah.
I sometimes worry because how people play games, they'll play solitaire or do crossword puzzles or they'll try to make things in the clouds. I just make up stories, and they don't have to be interesting stories. I mean, I'll in my head make up a story about a pig, or who just wants to get away from the other pigs and roam free or whatever. Like, I don't write it down. Sometimes I do, but I still, I guess, as a kid, you called it daydreaming.
Okay.
But I do it, and I'm old. I do it still. I don't know that I could preach with imagination. I don't know that I could create liturgies with imagination. So this imaginative portrait really speaks to me. Find one that speaks to you and add your own imagination to it. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point of all of this. Make believe. Make believe is making ourselves believe. So when we make up things, we use our imagination, we are learning to believe things are possible. So this make-believe story of a God and his lover It's helping us believe, make ourselves believe that love is divine, that love is beautiful, that love is healing, that love is empowering, that love doesn't end. Make believe. Use your imagination. And I think that will heal a lot of the bullshit we have suffered, where our imaginations are trying to be stifled to hand us something that somebody else made up. Let's take charge of our own lives.
All right.
Yes.
And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, we want to invite you to join Sunshine Cathedral on a wonderful travel experience and help our mission for our community. Join us on the Florida AIDS Walk Pride Cruise. This unique 3-day cruise will sail from Miami on the $1 billion and ultra-deluxe 170,000-ton MSC Seascape on November 2nd, 2025. The cruise is for the Florida AIDS Walk. Your participation helps 13 vital beneficiaries in our community. The cruise is an incredible value starting at just $199 and is also a fundraiser for the Sunshine Cathedral. Parties, special events, and more aboard, including a special unlimited beverage and open bar with Wi-Fi for all 3 days for just $68. We invite you to join us on this amazing cruise for fun, this vital cruise for good.
I invite you to share this episode on your social media, and I also welcome you to find Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram. You can also like our bishop pages on Facebook. My page is Bishop Robert Griffin, D-Men, and Darrell's is Bishop Darrell Watkins, D-Men. We're also on TikTok. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find also Bishop Talk, where I often talk with Bishop Darrell, interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together.
Also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.